I have been staunchly adamant in my support for civil rights, especially for Native American peoples and their issues. But today I'm going to get into a part of a Native American history where I'm going to be highly critical. I'm going to try to be extremely fair, but I'm going to be highly critical. Today, I'm going to start talking about the ghost dance. What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you beautiful, blasphemous bastards? Welcome back to The Rage. I am the Raging Atheist. And today, I want to start looking at a period of Native American history that I'm going to be highly critical of. Now, I've had a lot of you ask, well, why don't you bring on natives and talk? And I've tried, and there's reasons why it's really hard for me. I've had people ask, do you have Native American friends still? I have a couple, but most of them don't talk to me anymore, for the same reason that Christians don't talk to me anymore. And it's because I am highly critical of the spiritual religion that Native Americans hold. And in fact, I hold that religion responsible, in part, for the plight of Native Americans. So during the Civil War and after the Civil War, the American government really amped up its aggression, or defense, however you look at it, against the Native American nations. The American Indian War ensued. Not too long ago, I did a video about General Custer, Corporal Custer. People know him as General Custer. But I did a video about him and his last stand. And I referenced at the end of that video that would lead up to the massacre at Wounded Knee. So today I'm going to begin getting there. Today I'm going to begin getting to that massacre. But in order to understand the massacre at Wounded Knee, you have to understand the ghost dance.
The ghost dance was a spiritual movement that arose among Native Americans living in the west of the country. It began among the Paiute people in 1869 with a series of visions from an elder medicine man named Wodziwub.
All right, so in 1869, the start of real aggression. Now, there had been aggression before. There had always been aggression. Native Americans, a lot of eastern tribes, had sided with the British during the Revolutionary War, and this is something that the new American country never forgot. So aggressions escalated, and in 1869, that would have been, at the very beginning, at the height of that escalation. And the Native American spiritual religion, all across the land, started producing prophets. Now, much like Christianity, much like the problem we see with modern Christianity is this prophet thing has come back, and people think that they are prophets now and that they can predict the future. And that was a problem that the Native Americans had. Because, it was very easy at that moment in time for Native Americans to start seeing the end of their race. This new juggernaut with advanced sophisticated weaponry coming against them, taking their land. So this prophet emerged, originally in 1869 with the Paiute people, talking of a ghost dance, talking of a vision about the end of their people and what they need to do to save their people.
These visions foresaw renewal of the earth and help for the Paiute people, as promised by their ancestors. Initially, Wodziwub said that he saw some great cataclysm, removing all the settlers, leaving behind only natives. But in later visions, he saw an event that removed all people from the continent, after which those who faithfully practiced the spirituality of their ancestors would be miraculously returned.
Now, as is often the case when a prophet's prophecy doesn't come true, they change them. We see it in Mormonism. We see it all across the board. We see it in Christianity, especially when it comes to these prophecies about how Trump was going to win. Prophets are going to change their prophecies because It's not real. Prophecy doesn't fucking exist. You can't see into the future. Magic isn't real. It just fucking isn't. So this prophet saw that somehow, magically, all the white men were just going to disappear and the natives were going to get their shit back. And as it became more and more apparent that that just wasn't going to happen, this prophet started to predict a cataclysmic event that was going to just kill everybody on the continent. Now, you could be saved from this, and not saved because you were going to die, but you could come back from this if you practice the ghost dance.
Later still, his vision no longer predicted the destruction of settlers, but an immortal and peaceful life for those who practiced his spiritual teachings. A ceremony that featured a communal circle dance was central to the ghost dance suggested by those visions. Woziwop passed away in 1872.
So the prophecies keep changing as the situation in real time kept changing. And then this prophet passes away. I'm not going to butcher his name. And if that would have been the end of it, well, then I maintain that the massacre at Wounded Knee would have never happened. Or had it happened, at least the Native Americans would have been able to truly defend themselves. But unfortunately, this wasn't the end of it.
On January 1st, 1889, a Paiute named Wovoka, renamed Jack Wilson, had a dream during the eclipse of the sun. He had a vision of dying, speaking with God in heaven, and being told to teach the new dance to the people. His prophecy was similar to that of Woziwop. He said that he saw the settlers leaving or disappearing, the buffalo returning, and the land restored to native people all across the continent. In this vision, ancestors would be brought back to life, and all would live in peace.
And they believed this despite the circumstances in real time on the ground that they were experiencing on a daily basis. And they believed this because their religion, their medicine, told them so. And that's fundamentally the issue with religion, because these religions aren't real. These gods, these deities aren't real. They're not going to save you. And they did not save the Native Americans.
Wovoka's father Tavibo had befriended and assisted Woziwop during his life. After Tavibo's death, Wovoka had been raised by the American family of David Wilson. Hearing of the new prophet among the Paiute, representatives from many different tribes traveled to speak with him. Letters were sent by leaders of the movement to other native peoples and tribes to explain the vision and ceremony that would help bring about the transformation of the earth.
So new prophets would arise and have visions of the ghost dance, and new ghost dances would arise, and every tribe would have their own version of the ghost dance. As it spread across the nation, as the American Indian War heightened and grew hotter, and their extinction became inevitable. And that's what religion does. False hope. And this ghost dance, it brought forth false hope, which would lead to Wounded Knee.
Leaders of the movement also visited various native tribes to help teach them about the vision and the dance. Wovoka's teachings emphasized maintaining a peaceful relationship with the settlers. Growing up, he had some exposure to Christianity, so it is not surprising that there are mentions of Jesus or a Messiah in his teachings. He stated that by practicing the ghost dance, his vision of a peaceful world would become reality.
So this new prophet, raised in a Christian home, even added Christian elements to the ghost dance. Not Jesus himself, but a Messiah-type figure that was going to save Native American peoples. So here, I hope you understand a little bit of what the ghost dance is. Now, I didn't really go into the particulars of the ghost dance itself, and I do plan on doing that. But there really is no standard, because as I said, each tribe had their own. Now, I will focus starting in the next video on the events leading up to Wounded Knee. And within that video, I do hope to describe the ghost dance that was occurring there in that time. And when I say the next video, I mean the next video that I do on this topic. It'll be probably a couple weeks. And just a little spoiler alert, y'all. The Mormons aren't the only one that had the magic underwear, the magic garments. Think they're bulletproof. This would be a big part that would come to play in the massacre at Wounded Knee. Alright, so I never did do that scroll, but I am going to put a Patreon screen up of all the new patrons. With all the doctor stuff, I've been getting away from Patreon. Even though I was starting to get more active on Patreon, I am planning to try to be more active again now, depending on all the doctor stuff. I do want to thank you patrons for still supporting me. You guys are the shit. And as always, I'm your boy Nakasuchi. I am the Raging Atheist. I'll see you soon.